The advantages of this language is you can use any scripting language inside it. It is having its own pre-built tags. Like if you want to create a table in HTML, you have a tag called table. If you are writing some paragraphs, so you can use P. Okay. If you are using some link, you can use H reference, or if you are using some list of items, you can use LI. So these are all some tags in HTML which we regularly use. In the same way, it is having its own tags, Visualforce. Okay. So apart from these tags, you can use any other tags, like all styles, CSS styles you can use, all HTML tags you can use, JavaScript you can use, jQuery you can use. So whatever the scripting language that you know, you can implement it. Like Bootstrap, nowadays people using Bootstrap also. Okay, so everything you can use in this. If that is a standard web service, if that is a standard website designing language, definitely you can use that language in your Visualforce. So you don't need to use your Visualforce tags only. You can use any tags. Okay, so that is your Visualforce. It is having many advantages, like very user friendly. Okay, it's not that difficult to develop a page using Visualforce. It is very user friendly, and same, it is on MVC architecture. Okay, so, and one more thing, if you enable the development mode, so it is a page. Okay, if you click on this preview, see there is, see this, you can call it as some integrated development environment. See, you can modify here, you can modify your code here, and you can check the result of it here. Okay, so what I will do is I will create a page block section. I'm just showing, nothing to worry. It is giving intelligence to you. If you are not sure of what exactly the tag you are going to use, you can follow it. See, this is a page block section I defined. So in this page block section, if you want to have some, what is the controller here? Standard controller contact. I think you know what I am writing here. So you have to write everything in the binding variables. There should be a tag called apex form. If you are giving some input, then your apex form is necessary. If you are not giving any inputs, then you don't need to use apex form. But if you are giving some input, then you need apex form. Okay, that is your contact last name. So this way, I can design my own page in my own style, right? I can use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all the things. Okay, right? So this is style class. So you can define your CSS inside your style tags. Okay, so each and every tag should end with a tag. So this is starting here. My style tag is starting here and it is ending here. If you see in the same way, each and every tag, see here, this is my Apex page block and it is ending here. Okay, so Apex form I have written here and it is ending here. Okay, so page block section I have written here and page block section ending here, and Apex input field self ending tag, we call these as the self ending tags. Okay, so the starting tag and the ending tag, only the difference is you will see a slash on the ending tag. Okay, you will see a slash on the ending tag. So input field tag is a self ending tag. You don't need to write again Apex input field, something like that. If you want, you can do that, but you can also end it without writing this Apex okay. That way also you can do. So this tag, this Apex input field tag is ending here. Okay, but you don't need to write like this. It is a self-ending tag. That means you can end your tag here itself. Alright. So we'll go through each and every some tags. Okay, nothing to worry. So just I'm showing how it is going to work. So if you enable your development mode, I will show you where you have to enable your development mode. If you enable your development mode, you can code here, you can write your page styles and all here, and you can just check immediately here. Okay, so like writing the code somewhere and moving it to somewhere and testing in somewhere. So it's not like that. It is very user friendly. Okay, and the tags are also very simple. Once you practice it, you like it like anything. You will play with it. Okay, you will have fun in designing pages. Okay, so where is the development mode? Go to your user record. This is my record, my user record. Edit it and development mode. Okay, so if you remove this, automatically there will be no view state. If you don't have development mode, you can't see the view state. Okay, I will show you what is view state also. So I disabled the development mode. Now if I refresh the page, then you can see the difference. See, there is nothing here. You cannot design your page here itself, and you cannot see the changes here. So you have to go to either developer console or you have to go to your Visualforce page. Okay, you have to edit it here. Okay, you have to edit it and you have to save it and you have to preview. Okay, so if you enable the development mode, it's not like that. So once you enable development mode again, go to your user account and enable development mode. And right now I'm just enabling development mode, not the view state. Save. And if you refresh, you can see a small window on the bottom where you can do your changes. Okay, see, you can minimize it. Okay, you can maximize it. So this is completely minimizes. Okay, so if you click on this, your development mode will be disabled. So this is to disable development mode. Okay, if you click on this up arrow, you can see this, and this button is to search some keyword in the page. Okay, and these are all, and if you want to increase the font, right? So very user friendly development mode is very user friendly. So right now you are not able to see the view state. So view state is, you can see your view state here on the page. So there is no view state available right now here because there is no permission for the user to see the view state. So let's edit this user record again and excuse me. So where is it? Yeah, show view state in development mode. If you enable it, then you can see the view state. View state is very important. Refresh the page. See, view state. So what is this view state? What it contains? If you open it, it is a tree kind of structure with all the variables that you defined. Okay, all the components that you defined in the page. So right now the view state is 2.55 for this page. So allowed maximum size is 135 KB. You cannot have a view state of more than 135 KB. Okay, if you have the page with view state of more than 135 KB, it will not load and it will show error saying that view state error, view state exceeding 135 KB. Okay, so view state is very important. So what you have to keep in mind, if you don't need something, you should not define it. Okay, some people, they define variables like anything and they don't use them in the code. There is no use of it, right? So if you define more variables, it is going to occupy more data, more size, so that your view state increases. Okay, so right now I have a controller defined and each and every component is taking this much of view state. Okay, you can see component tree. There are no more components, that is why it is not showing it. Okay, so how each and every variable is occupying data, you can see it here. Right, so this is view state. We will see some basic examples. And one more thing, how to create page. Okay, so there are different ways. Like the standard navigation, you can go to setup, create pages, under development, under develop you can see, under develop you can see pages. If you want to create a new page, click on new. This is one way. Okay, you can define your page name and all and you can preview it. This is one way. The other way is so after salesforce.com, write apex and slash my first page. So you will get an error saying that, hey, this page doesn't exist. Do you want to create a page? If you click on this, see here, create page, my first page. If you click on this, then you are going to prepare your page. See, okay, so there is some default thing that is there when you create the page. Congratulations, this is your new page or something like that. You will get some message. Okay, so this is some introduction to Visualforce, and you can use your Apex, you can use web services, you can use email services. Okay, you can have as much logic as you want in Visualforce page, but your page should contain everything in tags only. All the logic you want to implement, you should implement the logic in the controller and you have to display it. Okay, so to be frank, your Visualforce page is to make your pages attractive, to display your page, to display the data in your Salesforce org. Something like, I will tell you one example. Suppose you have some business where, say you have some travels business, okay, where your trucks go and deliver goods and come back. Okay, so in Salesforce itself, you want your drivers to access a page to check the weather at some place where they are moving. Okay, so you can integrate your Salesforce with your weather. I mean, there are some weather applications. Okay, you can integrate your Salesforce application with that weather application, and you can get the data from that weather application, and you can display on your Salesforce account. Okay, so in that case, you don't have a standard object called weather, right? So whatever the input that you give on the page, it has to hit the server, the web service app. It has to hit it, and it has to get the live data, and it has to display somewhere on the page. So in those cases, you have to develop Visualforce pages. Your account records you can see because you have a standard object. Your contacts you can see. Your custom objects, you can display the data of custom objects, but you are getting the data of a third party service which you don't have in your local, right? In that time you have to develop a page. Okay, so say some location. Okay, so if a user enters a location or a zip code and get the weather button, he will have a get the weather button, and once he click on it, a page will be loading, and it is going to display the weather information in that area. Okay, so that is how you can do, right? So that is the reason mostly we use Visualforce pages to display data. It is purely to display data. All the controller logic, you are not writing your integration classes, integration code in Visualforce page. You will just access the class method or some variable where your data is there. So that method or variable, you will pass that to your Visualforce page. That method or variable which holds the data that you want. So that variable data or method data, we are going to pass it to the Visualforce page, and it is going to display data. Purely it is to display the data. You will not write any custom business logic inside your Visualforce page. Okay, very less logic you will write. Like if this is true, display this. If this is false, display this. That kind of things you will be writing, but not like doing integrations and all the stuff, right? Like writing SQL queries. You will not do such kind of things in your Visualforce page. Okay, and so before Visualforce, we have a concept called S controls. Nowadays, no one is using them, and I don't think you people have to know something about S controls, and even I don't know much about them. Okay, so S controls before Visualforce came into market, so there is a S control concept which is used to develop pages, but nowadays no one is using it. Okay. Right, so let's start writing a page, designing a page. Apex page. This is the tag with each and every page starts. Okay, this is the tag with each and every page starts. I want to display some accounts data. Okay, so there is a standard controller. See, standard controller. Okay, so now my highlight here and my home tab is highlighted here. Okay, if I give standard controller is equal to account, it is not case sensitive, don't worry. Save, and now you can see this is highlighted because we have given standard controller account. Now I will give contact. Now I will give opportunities. Opportunity. Okay, so Here, I told you already, when a object is created, okay, in the backend, there is something that is taking care of like all the standard functionality: edit, save, create, okay, delete. So all this functionality is created by default. Your duty is to just do some point and click with your mouse and create an object. But the Salesforce, it is doing a lot of things in the backend to generate the logic for saving the record once a user click on save button, editing the record once a user clicks on edit button, updating, right? All the things, deleting, all the things will be, some code will be generated for your custom object. Okay, and if you want to access the custom object in the backend, you have API names, right? So that will be generated by default by Salesforce, and you don't have to do anything, right? And you have the standard functionality. Whenever you are accessing your S object, I can say it's not standard or it's not custom. So standard controller means all your S objects, like standard objects and custom objects. If you use the standard controller here, you will get all the functionality that you have with your object. If you use the standard controller, and standard controller you can define with any standard or custom object. Okay, so it is used if you want to access, if you want to get the existing functionality of how to edit, how to save, how to delete, all the existing functionalities you can get. Otherwise, you can define a controller. Okay, so you have the logic there, you have the intelligence there. Controller, say I give some controller, so account data. If you click on save, it is asking you, do you want to create a class with sharing, or do you want to create a class without sharing? Okay, it is giving you two options. If you click on any one of those, a class will be created and you have to write the code inside it anyway. A class definition will be created, that's it. Whatever the logic that you want to write, you have to write in the controller. Suppose you want to save some records, there you have to use insert command. Okay, you have to write the logic, you have to create instance for the object, and you can save it. Okay, and insert button you will be placing here on the Visualforce page, save button, and the save logic you are going to write inside the class. Okay, so what is the difference between public with sharing and without sharing? Public with sharing means the current logged in user permissions will be counted. Okay, will be considered. The current users, logged in users, user permissions will be considered. Here, Apex class public, so the user permissions will not be considered. Whoever is the user, he will get the access to it. Okay, so that is the difference between public with sharing and without sharing. Anyway, in each and every profile, you can control the visibility to your pages and classes also. Okay, in your profile, you can have this security for the Visualforce pages and classes, right? So that is also there. Okay, so that is the difference between public with sharing and without sharing. People try to confuse you with cross questions. So I have public with sharing. So I have a user, he is trying to access it. Will he get the access to your Visualforce page or not? So what is exactly the with sharing and without sharing? So they will ask you some questions. So that is the main difference. Okay, you will get questions mostly on the view state and with sharing, without sharing, and what is standard controller and what is controller. So all this stuff. Okay, so let's see the controller topic later. Once we see some basic examples, we can jump to the controller. Okay, so for now I will take a standard controller and account. Now If you define this one tag, the standard functionality of account you will get. You will get the total standard functionality that you have with your account object. You will get them. Okay. Right. So and if you want to write some text, okay, you can write any text. No tags, nothing, you can write like anything. Welcome to Visualforce. You want to move it to center. There is a HTML tag. It moved to center. And I don't want this header. Okay, I don't want all this header because I want to have a plain page. And if someone sees this page, they can come to know that hey, he is using Visualforce, Salesforce, right? So I don't want to show the page on my page, show the header on the page. So what I can do, you have a tag called show header false. Then you don't see the upper part. Save it. Okay. So now your page is empty. I want to make it true. And I don't want this sidebar. Then you have a tag called sidebar. False. There is no sidebar now. Okay. If you don't want both of them, make this also false. Okay. So this is your page. I'll click later. Right. So you want to write something else. Use break tag. If you want to write something in the other line, use break tag. It is going to give you a line. Okay. Next. Say hello world. So like this you can use any tag. Say if you want to use some header tag. Okay, this is a header tag. And if you want to use some styles, okay, like we used some styles here. I have to use the style class. Okay, hello world. So you can see the red color here because we are using a style. So whatever that you are writing in the tag P, that is going to display in the red color. Okay, so you want to increase the font. Font, say some 18 pixel. We call here as pixels. No change. No change. So font size, then it will change. Okay, that is font size. So if you have any question in using these tags, just go to W3 schools. They have a very good reference of all the tags. It's very simple there to use them. Okay, so whatever you are writing inside your P tag, it is going to display like this style. This style will be applied. I'm just defining it only one place, right? So again I will write something in the paragraph. Testing my CSS. Okay, testing my CSS, and I want to define a style to my h1 tag header. So here itself in the style only, so h1. You have color codes also. If you want to use some 3D kind of colors, some designs, then you can use color codes. Okay, so font size. Now you can see the header tag style. Save it. Yeah, this is a header tag. Okay, so this way you can use your HTML. This is HTML tag, and if you want to do some styles to your center tags, just have a class for the center. Very easy. If you start practicing it, like you will like it. So center, say color, yellow, font style, Times New Roman or something like that, sans serif, Verdana and Calibri. You have so many styles, right? So you can have all those things. But make sure that you are giving the right name, Times New, in the right format. Okay, New Roman. And background color, let's see. Okay, background color red. Welcome to Visualforce. See, so this way you can play like anything. It's very easy. Try to use all HTML tags. It's very easy to practice HTML. It's not that difficult. Go to W3 schools and they have like too many examples. It's really very good. Okay, so why means you have an example and he will give you the button, try it yourself, and if you click on it, see, and you can change it here and you can check your modification here. Okay, so color white, my first CSS example, this color is white. If you want to do some modification, come here, see, I change it to red. Oops, sorry, and again run. See, this website, I like it like anything. They give each and every example. Okay, so font family, you can see Vardhana, font size, text align. Let's try this text align center. So to move a text to center, you have one HTML tag. Otherwise, you can do your CSS. So this is a header tag. I want to move it to in the middle. I want to move that to middle. Okay. So how I can do that? So this is H1, right? Go to your H1 class here, CSS style class, text align center, and save it. It is there only. If that is not working, then you have other way. You can also do like this. Okay, this is a header tag. Why the style is overridden? Because this center tag is having its own style. Which one defined first? This is defined first, but later this is defined. So that is the reason. See, actually for this H1, the style we are applying is a different, but this center is overriding, and see, it came to the middle. Okay, so if you remove center, it will come back to the normal. Right? Any questions in using your CSS here? CSS, HTML, you can use anything. Okay, right. So practice your CSS, because it's not easy for us to discuss each and every tag of what CSS is having, what HTML is having. So if you want to practice, go here and start practicing your HTML. Okay, learn HTML. There will be some, these are all the list of all things that you have in HTML. Okay, it's not difficult, it's very easy. Right. The thing is, you should know how you can use each and every tag. That's it. You don't need to remember everything in your brain. Okay, you should know how I can use the style, how I can use the script out, how I can use all these things. You should know. Right, now forget about all the funny business we did. Let's go back to the actual business. Right. So yeah, I defined a page. Now, so you want to access some object to record here. How you can do that? You want to access some name or something. Say, I want to see my username. Okay, so hello. Same, use the binding variable. User dot first name. Okay, use it. Now try to save it. Control S. Account standard controller and use it. So remove this standard controller. Unknown property. Right. So this is a global variable user class. So for global variables, you have to use the dollar symbol. Okay. If you use the dollar, then you won't get that error. Hello, Salesforce. And do you want to style it? You want to make it center? You want to display as a header? You can know, you know everything, right? You want to apply a different style, so you know everything. Okay, so I want to make it header. I have a class here, style class for header files, h1. Okay, so this way you can play with your application. So this is a global variable, user dot first name. So global variables you have to declare with the dollar. This is also one funny example. Let's say Control Z, and I want to see some account record information. Okay, so let's have this P. You are using I want to display account name. So you are accessing account object field. So write your standard controller now. Oh, P tag. So the error you got, the element P must be terminated by the matching end tag. Simple, right? The errors also easy to understand. Now you are not getting the account name, right? How you can get the account name? This is fine. You are viewing the so far it is fine, but it is unable to display the account.name. So this is a binding variable. Okay. So see, in the middle we should have some name that should be printed. How we can get it? I will tell you. Go to any account record. Suppose take this record. Sam sending mail batch of X. Copy the ID of the record. After your page name, a question mark, ID is equal to paste your ID. You are viewing the sending mail batch. So you are passing ID to the page. That we will do using the controller logic. But before I explain all the controllers and going deep into Visualforce, I am giving a few funny examples so that you can understand what is going on. So the Visualforce, as I said, it is used to display the data. So how I displayed the account name? By passing ID to the page. By passing ID to the page, I displayed it, right? So that is the way you can pass your ID, record ID to the page. So now by using this record ID, you can access any other field. Any other field. See, say I will take one more style class. Okay, H2. I'm taking H2. Say color. Give me some color. Now let me use some custom color. CSS colors. Okay. So if you want to use some shades, see these colors you cannot exactly name them. So blue will have so many blues, right? So these are all the different. And if you want to have some, stylish kind of things, these are So yeah, I want this. Where is our page? This is our page. So color, just copy the color code, font, family, say Vardhana, background color, take some fancy color again. So we have taken some kind of dark, so the background should be some kind of lighter. Okay, so now within this H2 I will display some account data. H2, the account phone number is. So you have to write a binding variable, account dot phone, and close your tab. H2, save it. Okay, so we got this one as we expected. See, the font is different. This is Vardhana, right? Okay, so any questions here? Easy, right? It's not that difficult. It's very easy. Because this way you can use your all styles. Whatever you want to do, you can do with your styles. You can design very good styles. I mean, if you are very good in designing something, I'm very bad in designing something. Okay, so if you are very good at it, then you can do it. Right, so let me connect my charger. It is dying. 1 minute. Right, so now yeah, we are back to our page, and I'm using standard controller, and I want to replace this page with my Visualforce page. So whenever user clicks on this button, I mean, say go to accounts, whenever user clicks on new button, he will be taking to this screen, and after that he will be taking to this page. So I want to override this page. I don't like this page. Okay, so I will show you how we can override that page. So we are going to give some input fields, right, in the page. So that is the reason use input, Apex form. Apex form tag. So you have to write everything inside Apex form. And inside Apex form, create a page block. Apex page block. And inside a page block, Apex page block means it is a full page block. Inside a page block, I want to have page block section. If you want to have something, a title kind of thing for this page, you can have title, say it is a edit page, right? Enter account details. If you save it, you can see the changes immediately. Okay, enter account details, right? So this time let's have the show header true, and remove the sidebar false tag. I want to see them. It looks like a Salesforce page now. Okay. Enter account details. That is the title for my page blog. Inside the page blog, I want to write a page blog section because your edit page is having some account information, address information, additional information, description, all the things. So in the same way, I want to have Apex page blog section. And before the page blog section, let's have the buttons too. Apex page blog buttons, because your buttons are outside of section, right? So if you consider this as a section, address information section, and this is additional information section, and this is description information section, and this is account information section. So your buttons are outside of your section. That is why have your page blog buttons now. And you can define the location. If you mention top, you will see the buttons only on the top. Apex. Now define a page blog section. And if you want to have a title for the section, you can have, say, title, account info, control save. Why it went that side? Right. So I should not write it in the page blog section. Page blog section should end here. Okay, account info. But I have not displayed my buttons here. So before you go and display all your account fields, I want to display my buttons. So you have to write them inside the page blog buttons only. So inside the page blog buttons section, let's say Apex command button, value, say save, and you have to define the action for a command button. Action, there is a standard save method for the standard controllers. So I'm using the standard save function of the account object. If you are not writing standard controller, you can't use this save functionality. You have to define your save functionality. See? Okay. You got the buttons only on the top. If you remove the location is equal to top, then you will get the buttons both on the top and bottom. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. So you got the buttons both on top and bottom. Alright. So I defined a page blog section, and inside the page blog section, I want to have some fields information. Apex input field, value is equal to account.name. You are accessing account fields. Okay. So still it is taking the ID. I have not refreshed. That is why it is taking ID of the record and it is displaying that record name. Okay. Right. So Apex input field account.rating, save rating, See, it is taking the ID again. Let's take this off and refresh it. Now it won't. Okay. Apex input field, value is equal to icon dot type alias icon number, icon site, industry. Alias. I don't know the field name of it. SIC code. Let's see the field name of this SIC code. Oh, that is just SIC. Okay. So somewhere we have used some unnecessary tags. So after type, see, this is the one. After type and after SIC code, this is the one. That is why you have two additionals here. Remove them. Okay. And after that, I want to display the contact information. So again, just copy it, or else I will copy it, copy paste, copy it, paste it. What's happening? Why it is copied 2 times? Apex. Again, I want to write one more page block section. And this time the title is, I want to display the contact information separately. Contact info. So now Apex input field, value, now the contact information, right? So icon dot building street, there is a typing mistake. I think it is billing zip code. If that is giving any error, then we will check. So it's not billing zip code. Go to fields. See, or zip code. Billing postal code. Okay, so you can name it as address info. Your address info is ready. Okay, now I will create one more page log section. Title, contact. Say Apex. Ecom dot fax we don't have email. Whatever we got, account email. Okay, we got something like primary email. Right? So if you want to have a description information, you can have. If you want to have anything else, you can have. Okay, so this is how you can design your page. Right? So how we can override a button, that we will see tomorrow. Overriding a button using Visualforce pages, that we will see in tomorrow's class. Any questions? It's interesting, right? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.